Well, it seems like at least a week and a half since I last reviewed an Ayaneo gaming handheld. So let's have a good hard squint at the Ayaneo Air 1S. It's one of the most impressively compact Windows gaming handheld devices right now. Supremely weeny when stuck side by side with the likes of the Steam Deck. And yet it still boasts some AMD Ryzen 7 processor smarts. You got a gorgeous AMOLED screen. And you can bag yourself one right now over on Indiegogo. It starts from 630 GBPs. So let's get some serious gaming on the go, see what the Ayaneo Air 1S is really capable of. Oh, and before we even begin, at least half of the comments on my previous video on one of these things was just on how I pronounce Ayaneo. Look, I'm northern, so I can't even pronounce most normal English words properly, let alone stuff like this. And second of all, who really gives a shit? So you keyboard warriors can do one. Oh, but before you do one, please do poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell, of course. Right, so first of all, what do you get in the box besides, of course, the Ayaneo Air 1S, which should be just tucked away underneath here. I've got myself the standard edition, but there is a different model as well. More on that in a bit. You've also got yourself all of the quick start guide shenanigans. The English translation can be a bit ropey at times. For instance, apparently using the Ayah quick tool will save the handheld gamers the time of tossing to the greatest extent. That is a shame because I am a massive tosser. And you've also got yourself your power adapter with the USB cable and interchangeable heads depending on what region you're in. Very quick and simple to use. And you've also got yourself a pair of USB-C to USB-A adapters. Alright, that's everything in the Ayaneo Air 1S box, so let's get gaming. So let's begin with the design of the Ayaneo Air 1S. You can pick it up in 3 different colours, this here white model, otherwise also black or retro power. It's kind of a grubby browny grey with bright red buttons, kind of similar to a Game Boy that's been left out in the sun for too long. I gotta say, I love what Ayaneo has done with the Air 1S. That design is super slick. First of all, it's smaller and lighter even than the Air Plus, which was already impressively dinky. For comparison purposes, for instance, here is the almighty Steam Deck. I mean, stick these things side by side and it really is like David and freaking Goliath. I mean, I love the Steam Deck, but honestly, I only ever use it when I'm splayed out on the sofa or occasionally sitting on the throne. Whereas the Ayaneo Air 1S, absolutely effortless to carry about the place, can definitely see myself slipping this thing in my backpack for long haul flights. It is quite a bit chunkier than the Nintendo Switch, admittedly, but nothing horrific. And also, because it weighs under half a kilo, unlike the Steam Deck, you don't need to rest it in your lap if you're gaming for more than about half an hour. And if you're still not impressed by the design of this thing, well, you can actually pick up a slim and light edition of the Ayaneo Air 1S on the Indiegogos, which is probably about the same size and weight as a 4-finger Kit Kat. Now, it may be more compact and more lightweight than a lot of other Ayaneo handheld gaming devices, but apart from that, the design is very similar. You got the same basic button layout and everything. I'm not entirely sure about the little bit of red highlighting here on the D-pad and on the buttons as well. I do think that gives the Air 1S a bit of a cheap finish. Perhaps that's just me though. It'd be great to hear your own thoughts down in the comments below. However, I am a bit of a sucker for the colour morphing that's going on up here at the top with the trigger buttons. As you can see, they're green on the left and then it kind of transitions into a pinky coppery colour for the right side. You've got the usual double triggers, LB, LT, RB, RT. You've also got a couple of shortcut buttons up top. And up here is also where you'll find a Type-C USB port, as well as the volume rocker and the power button, which has a fingerprint sensor built in. And then down below, you've got a second USB port, which is very convenient indeed. You've also got a headphone jack and a micro SD memory card slot, secreted away under a wee flappy bit. And then around back, nice simple plain design. You do of course have this massive vent to help blast out some of that pesky hot air, and a more miniature vent up top. And the actual grips here on the Ayaneo Air 1S are rather smooth. I'd have preferred a little bit more texture just when your hands get a wee bit sweaty. See, you're playing a very intense game indeed, or you're just a very moist human being in general. But the Air 1S does feel very comfortable to clutch, helped along again by the lightweight design. I never felt like it was going to go flying out of my hands. Right, so I've got the Ayaneo Air 1S all set up, ready to rock, and as I mentioned before, you do have a fingerprint sensor built into that power button, so you don't have to be entering a pin every time you want to boot up the Ayaneo Air 1S. Just tap your finger to that sensor and boom, you're straight in. Now, just like any other semi-decent handheld gaming device, you can dock the Ayaneo Air 1S, hook it up to your TV, a monitor, hook up a Bluetooth controller, use it like a household console. However though, for the purposes of this review, I have just been using it as a handheld gaming machine, lounging around on the sofa, lying in bed, and actually outside in the garden, on a train, on a bus. One of the first things that usually disappoints me with Ayaneo devices is the software. Ayah Space can be a wee bit shonky to say the least, but now we've got the fresh new Ayah Space 2. And this is quite a bit different compared with the original Ayah Space. Is it still shonky? Yes, of course it bloody well is. But it's a lot less shonky and it's a lot prettier and just nicer to use. So you'll still get bullshit, like for instance this claims I've been playing Returnal for precisely 0 hours, even though it's been quite a few. And quite often if you minimize Ayah Space, you'll then find that you actually can't get back into it without fully restarting the Air 1S. But hey, at least every time you update Ayah Space now, it doesn't automatically revert the language back to Chinese. Definitely a bonus. I really like the nice, simple, straightforward UI here on Ayah Space 2. There's no f***ing about. Just easy access to all of the games you've got downloaded if you just want to jump straight into whatever you've been playing most recently. You can control it using the joysticks, otherwise it's also touch compatible of course. Just dive on into the settings. And this is one of my favorite improvements. It's just so much more neatly laid out. Everything is exactly where you would expect it to be. Absolutely loads of customization in here. You can set up your own performance presets and everything. Controller section is well worth diving into because you can set the sensitivity of those joysticks. Admittedly, I would have preferred more steps in the sensitivity slider because you've literally got 50, 100 or 150%, that's it. You can configure the dead zones. Same goes for the triggers, boost the sensitivity of those if you want to. Play around with the haptics. Just the number of options in here is just absolutely fantastic. You can also customize some of these face buttons as well. So for instance, this one by default will just bring up your desktop, but you've got a whole bunch of other options you can go for instead. And in here is also where you set up those 2 custom keys up here at the top. But I gotta say, I love the default options. I love being able to bring up that virtual keyboard in a game at any point just with a quick tap there. And of course, it's always handy to be able to conjure up the task manager as well. Although touchwood, haven't needed that much at all since I started playing around with the Air 1S. And then yes, of course, you can bugger about with the RGB lighting effects too. You can have that permanently turned on if you fancy. You can change around the colors, piddle about with various effects. I tend to just knock the RGBs off because it's just an extra drain on the battery, which you definitely don't need. But those LEDs do flash red when you're low on battery, for instance. They're still handy. So overall, just so much nicer to use than before. Honestly, just finding features and tools and stuff previously was an absolute ball ache, but now everything is just so intuitive. And my only other complaint with Ayah Space is that if you are trying to load up a game on a service such as Game Pass, for instance, you will have to minimize Ayah Space and go out and make sure Game Pass is all fully loaded up and everything before it'll do anything. Otherwise, you can select the game as much as you like, it ain't gonna load. Now, when you're actually in a game, the great news is you don't have to come out of the game and go into Ayah Space if you want to dick around with the settings. All you need to do is press this wee shortcut button here, and you'll pop up this little toolbar. And this gives you fast access to all of the major stuff that you could possibly want to tinker with. So for instance, in the performance mode, you can switch between the 3 main modes quite easily. Retro game, normal game, and AAA game, depending on what you're playing. There is also a PC office mode if you're just doing more basic stuff. And you can create and customize your own performance modes as well if you want. You'll be able to check out the internal temperatures here, the CPU, the GPU, and also see how busy that fan is. And then if we scroll down a bit, you've got even deeper controls, so you can set an FPS limit. You can also play around with the actual wattage. Turn on a performance overlay if you want to keep tabs on all of those stats as you're gaming. And you've got full control over those fans as well, so you can have them quiet, you can max them out, you can customize exactly how fast they go. And again, the layout's so much better than it was with the original Ayah Space. And this is just the performance section. You can also quickly and easily play about with the screen brightness, toggle the likes of Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, and also mess around with the control settings while you're gaming. And from here, you've also got fast access to a whole bunch of Windows shenanigans like the Task Manager, Device Manager, the Control Panel, and overall it's pretty bloody comprehensive. And as always, I'm a big fan of the controls here on the Air 1S. You've got Hall sensing joysticks as well as triggers. Oh, I managed to kill the bugger. Oh no, I didn't. He's just behind me. Bugger. Oh my god, why? Serious Sam, why would you have a bit in a corridor? Christ on a bike. But yeah, the controls feel really good, really responsive, and as I say, you've got full customization over the sensitivity and the dead zones, although a bit more control over the sensitivity would have been nice. Oh no, not another one of these dudes. Leave me alone! Yeah, what a surprise. Now the screen size here on the Ayaneo Air 1S is a wee bit smaller than on most other Ayaneo handheld gaming devices that I've tested out. It's just 5.5 inches. As you can see there, you've got fairly chunky bezels surrounding it. It doesn't exactly fill the front end of this device. But the good news is that that display is AMOLED tech, which is pretty rare for a handheld gamer, the likes of the Steam Deck, for instance, and most of the other Ayaneo devices just go with your bog standard IPS. It's the first time I've seen an OLED on an Ayaneo since the Air Pro, I think it was. There's a 16:9 aspect ratio, full HD resolution as well, 1920x1080, so again sharper than the likes of the Steam Deck. When you're running games at full HD, those visuals are supremely sharp, love it. And any bright, vibrant games really shine, those tones really pop off the screen. You've got nice wide viewing angles as well. So overall, no real complaints other than the fact that it only maxes out at about 350 nits. And as you can see there, the surface of the screen is quite shiny and reflective. So if you're playing outdoors, you will struggle to see what's going on, especially with murkier fare like Returnal. In fact, Returnal was quite a struggle even when playing indoors, partly because it's quite a small screen and partly because it's just dark as shit. And as for those stereo speakers, well, they are bottom firing here on the Air 1S as usual. And even though this thing doesn't blast audio directly at your face, when you max out that volume, you will feel like you are being assaulted with sound because they are super loud. And still pretty clear as well, but of course you do have that headphone jack and you do have dedicated Bluetooth support as well, if you want to rock a headset or just a pair of earphones, whatever. Now with some of these more compact Ayaneo devices, the performance tends to kind of not be amazing. They can struggle with some of those AAA titles, especially when you try and boost the graphics settings up anywhere near the higher levels. But thankfully that ain't the case here on the Ayaneo Air 1S, which is powered by the beefy AMD Ryzen 7840U chipset. Got those tasty Radeon 780M graphics, and my review model comes stacked with 32 gigs of RAM. To keep all of that raw power in check, you've also got a turbo coolant fan on this thing. And as I showed you before, you've got full control over the actual level of the performance as well as how fast that fan can move. Now when the Air 1S is plugged in, as you can see there, the TDP limit is 25 watts. However, when it is running on battery power, that then drops to 20 watts. And because I was testing the Ayaneo Air 1S as a handheld gaming device, that meant I was limited to 20 watts. I played all of these games with the AAA games preset, and I also ran all of these games at full HD resolution to really take full advantage of that gorgeously crisp display. Now first up on the roster was an absolute banger of a title, Spider-Man Remastered. Now I ran this on the high detail settings, which is what the game defaulted to based on the hardware configuration. And I gotta say, I was impressed with the performance here. I did see some frame rate dips when I was absolutely zooming about Manhattan like my arse was aflame. In fact, I'm pretty sure I broke the sound barrier on a couple of occasions, but apart from the odd little dip here and there, the gameplay experience was silky, creamy smooth. Manhattan looked absolutely stunning, of course, with those crisp, colourful graphics. And the good news was that having the fan set to the max setting was more than good enough to keep the Ayaneo Air 1S cool, even with a couple of hours of straight full-on gameplay, which to be fair is about all you'll manage with a fully charged battery anyway. And thankfully that hot air is aimed away from your face and your fingers, although quite often I would actually get a bit of a blast of it going on my face, just so I could feel like I was actually in a hot country in summer rather than the bloody UK. Speaking of which, the gorgeous summer weather we're getting here in Blighty is pretty similar to what Serious Sam experiences in his latest excursion, Siberian Mayhem. Good bit of classic run and gun action, and Siberian Mayhem auto-detected to the Ultra CPU and low GPU settings and then scaled the graphics accordingly. And after such an enjoyable experience on Spider-Man Remastered, I wasn't too shocked to have a smooth gameplay experience once again here on Serious Sam. That frame rate stayed perfectly fluid, even when I had literally dozens of things all trying to murder me all on screen at the same time. And yeah, once again, that cooling mechanism coped perfectly well, so no throttling or other untoward behaviour experienced. And so last up, I decided to really test the Ayaneo Air 1S's chops with a hearty bit of Returnal. And this defaulted itself to the high graphics settings, capped at 60 FPS, with resolution scaling active. And unlike the ROG Ally, the Ayaneo Air 1S actually coped pretty well with Returnal. Even on those high detail settings, it generally was reasonably smooth apart from some significant frame rate drops when things got quite hairy. and that combined with the fact that I suck at this game meant that I didn't progress very far at all. However, I did try plugging the Air 1S in and then trying it with that 25 watt mod, see if that would make a difference. I did find the frame rate was a bit more fluid and reliable on this mode, but I still saw some judders, so you will want to scale down the graphics to get a smooth experience at all times. However, as I mentioned before, the fact that it's quite a murky game, the fact that it's quite a small display here on the Ayaneo Air 1S as well as not the brightest panel around means that it's not exactly the ideal way to play this game, and definitely stick with brighter, bolder titles. Oh, and if you are a bit of a fan of benchmarking, well, I did run a bit of 3D mark on this bad boy, and TimeSpy returned a score of 2729 on the 20 watt mode. That's a little under the 3000-ish that I got on the ROG Ally and the Ayaneo 2S, but still a very respectable score for a handheld. As for the CPU profiling, well, that returned a score of 4700-ish with all of those threads running. And the stress test was a big fat pass with over 98% stability. Now, despite the compact size of the Ayaneo Air 1S, Ayaneo has managed to cram in a 10,000 mAh capacity battery. I found that playing all of these games at the full HD resolution and the 20 watt power mode meant that I got around 2 hours roughly of full-on gameplay before the battery died. Now obviously if you do bump down the resolution, the power consumption, etc., you'll be able to stretch a bit longer out of that battery from a full charge. So if you're playing a more retro title, something a bit older, you can probably stretch to more like 3 or 4 hours. Thankfully, I found that using the bundled adapter to power this bad boy back up again, it was reasonably nippy. A couple of hours plugged in and you'll get mostly a full charge again. And of course it's super easy to plug in and keep on gaming because you've got a USB port down below as well as up above. Oh, and you've got plenty of storage space on this bad boy as well. My review model came with 1 TB of storage. You can upgrade that up to 4 TB, and you've got that memory card slot if you need to expand a bit. So that right there in a nutshell is what I reckon of the Ayaneo Air 1S, and I gotta say, for something so beautifully compact and lightweight, it does pack quite a punch. You can smash your way through most AAA titles out there on a reasonable graphics setting. You don't have to bump it all the way down to 720p and therefore not take full advantage of that gorgeous AMOLED display, which is one of the better ones out there, even if it is quite dinky. And I really love what they've done with the Ayah space too as well. It's so much more neatly laid out, so much more intuitive, a lot less of a ball ache basically. Anyway, that's my review, but what do you guys reckon of the Ayaneo Air 1S? Be great to hear your thoughts down below, apart from on how I pronounce Ayaneo, obviously. And please do poke, subscribe, and ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest tech, and have yourselves a ruddy, wonderful rest of the week. Cheers!